Hello everybody, today I'm going to talk about UAE Freezone Offshore Company, which will be referred to as JAFZA Offshore Company hereafter. Now, what is an offshore company? It is a legal business entity that operates outside the jurisdiction of the country in which it is incorporated in. In this case, it would be outside the legal jurisdiction of UAE. There are certain requirements when it comes to the legal structure. There is no minimum capital requirement. There should be at least one shareholder as well as one director, where the shareholder could be a minor, but the director cannot be a minor. 100% of foreign ownership is allowed. Bearer shareholding, where the shareholder's name is not mentioned in the certificate of incorporation, is not allowed. Nominee directors as well as nominee shareholders are not allowed, where you bring in a shareholder or a director on a trust basis. Only fully paid shares are allowed. Now, one of the main advantages of having a JAFZA offshore company is that you do not require a local sponsor, which means that the individual can have 100% of the shareholding in the JAFZA offshore company. There are certain activities that are allowed and disallowed. Commercial activities outside the jurisdiction of UAE, registration of patent and copyrights, as well as international consultancy services are activities that are allowed, whereas insurance, financing, banking, and gambling are some of the activities that are disallowed. Why do you need JAFZA offshore company as a holding company? There are certain advantages to it. You can have property investment. Now, one of the rights that is exclusively associated with the JAFZA offshore company is that you can have freehold properties in Dubai. You can hold business licenses worldwide as well as in the mainland. Now, one of the main advantages is that there could be easy succession planning. This is where, let's say, the shareholder writes a will, where God forbid if something happens to him, the shares will be transferred to his beneficiaries. Now, this will provide the advantage of not having any amendments in the trade license of the subsidiary. So let's say, God forbid something happens to him, and if the shareholding is transferred to his beneficiaries, then there will be no amendments in the trade license, because the trade license of the subsidiary will be in the name of the holding company rather than the individual's name. So this can be done without much complications. Having a JAFZA offshore company can provide you certain benefits in terms of tax exemptions. Some of the taxes that are exempted are the corporate or the company tax, the personal income tax, the import tax, the export tax, and the value added tax. You do not require physical presence of an office. The address of the offshore company will be the same as that of the address of the registered agent. The name of the company will be accompanied by the word limited to it. The shareholder or the director cannot have a residence visa, however they can open bank account, as well as they can have the advantage of 100% repatriation of profits as well as capital. However, filing an audit report is not mandatory for JAFZA offshore companies. The shareholders have to be present at the time of initial registration of the company. The registration process takes up to 7 working days depending on the AML clearance of the shareholders. JAFZA offshore companies do not hold trade licenses, instead they hold certificate of incorporation. These are some of the basic details of JAFZA offshore company. Thank you.